Hey guys, it's Chris. Welcome back to K97.5. I'm back with James from Daily Use of Sports Trivia. And today we have some old school hip hop, some Cypress Hill rock superstar.
Live large, big house, 5 cars, you're in charge. Coming up in the world, don't trust nobody. Gotta look over your shoulder constantly. I remember the days when I was a young kid growing up, looking in the mirror, dreaming about blowing up the rock rhymes, make money.
Hey guys, it's Chris, and I'm back with James from Daily Use of Sports Trivia, and we're back for another Game of Thrones Season 7 Q&A. And I think we got a couple Patreon questions, because I really didn't plan this, so I apologize. I didn't make a post on Patreon in advance, as I usually do. Also, be sure to stick around to the end of this video, because you have our next giveaway, and it's pretty cool.
This is one I've been excited
So,
about.
yeah, be sure to stick around to the end, and I will tell you how to enter the giveaway, and we'll probably announce it in about a week or so, in next Q&A or something like that. And I will show you the item, by the way, at the end of this video.
First question comes from John Carey.
Thank you, John.
He says, "Hey Chris, what do you think about the theory that Jack and Hagar is actually Rhaegar using a ruby like Melisandre?"
The short answer is I don't think so, but it is interesting because, you have the whole ruby thing that seems to be tied in with glamoring. Mm-hmm. And it is mentioned in the books that when he died, everybody kind of, stopped fighting and went after all the rubies, and they washed down the river and ended up possibly at the Quiet Isle, which is where the Hound was found. So I don't think so. I don't think it makes sense, really, in a literary sense, for Rhaegar to be alive.
Right.
He was so obsessed with prophecy. I don't see him being, like another character that's hiding off somewhere.
No.
I think he'd be right there in the middle of things with his son. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I like your logic there.
Yeah, I mean, he was so obsessed with prophecy and the prince was promised and all that kind of thing. I don't think he would just go away, and watch from afar, So
No.
I don't think so.
Next Patreon question comes from Lala Gig.
La 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 la.
It's Q&A. Just rewatched the Tower of Joy King in the North scene, and I noticed something that may be a subtle hint, or it may be nothing. Jon seems to be not in the room as the scene fades into this discussion between the Northern Lords, almost as if he was watching the tower scene with us. If you look at his face, he seems stunned. Possible that he was seeing the tower scene, vision from Bran, or his own vision?
I wouldn't think so. I think it was just cinematography, with the baby fading out and him coming in.
That's what I thought it was.
Until
I read this question, I never even thought.
Yeah, that. I mean, there, like I said before, in the warg, in the books, he's a warg, and he kind of resists that power. But there's no hint of any kind of green sight or connection with Bran or the Three-Eyed Crow, for that matter. Anything as far as anything beyond warging. So
right.
I wouldn't think he has a clue, about. I think it was just one of those cinematic scenes where everybody's in the room kind of yelling in the background, and he's kind of focused in on, what just happened with the whole battle with Winterfell and, the future and all that kind of stuff. So I think it was more of a cinematic thing. So
Good question, Lala, but I think he's right on this one. I really do.
Yeah.
Next question comes from Michael Gagliardi. It says, Chris, when Ned asked Varys to deliver a letter while imprisoned in the Red Keep, do you think that the letter was to Howland Reed and we will finally see him now? Finally? We will see the guy?
That's a great question. And, yeah, I would hope so. Because I think a lot of people speculated on what Ned's whispering when he gets killed. And most people would just think it was just a prayer to the old gods, But that was one of his big things was, the next time we see each other, we'll talk about your mother, I promise. And he never got a chance to tell him that, and he probably regretted that at that moment. So that is a good point. Maybe let Varys know what's going on, or get this to Jon whenever you can. And the question is, does Varys read it?
Does Varys have it?
Does he have it? Has he read it, or is he actually doing the honorable thing and not
Yeah.
Did he write the? Well, no. He would ask him to He would have to write it, wouldn't he? Right. He would have to write the letter because Ned's in the black cells with no access unless he took him pen and paper.
Yeah.
Or quill and parchment. So, yeah. I mean, that's a good point. It very well could be, at least to have Howland Reed maybe not say what it is, because that way you could get by with it, right? You know, let Howland Reed, you know, send this to Howland Reed and tell him that he needs to show his face and talk to my son John, or something like that. And Varys wouldn't have any idea what it was about, wouldn't know the secret, but Howland Reed would. He would know exactly what he's talking about.
Exactly.
So that's a great point. That could be a good way to introduce Howland Reed, where he gets this letter. You know, of course, it would be in the past a little bit, a few years now, but yeah, that's a good idea. Never thought about it.
And Michael, I see your little avatar picture or whatever, 2 boxing gloves. Maybe answer in another question. Do you box? Are you a boxing fan? Maybe come check out my sports site.
Yeah, that's definitely his thing, his boxing.
I love boxing. Next question. This is a long one.
All right. So do we need to break it up? We'll just listen and see what we got.
Yeah. This question comes from Olga Bykova.
Okay.
Q&A. Hi guys. Really enjoy your videos, so keep them coming. Yada yada yada, yada yada, yada yada yada. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. We'll be waiting for next week's Q&A video. All the best.
Yada yada yada. That's interesting.
Now here it goes. This is a really good one. I'm just messing around, Olga. Sorry. It says, really enjoy your videos, so keep them coming. Firstly, Dany's House of the Undying vision is quite clear to me. King's Landing destroyed, snow in the throne room. You've said it before. It speaks for itself. But then we see Dany walking out of the gate beyond the wall, where she meets Drogo and her son, which to me is a clear indication that she is going to end up in the north, where she will die. I mean, she cannot have children anyway, because the witch took care of that. So what's the point to have her on the Iron Throne, right? Unless, of course, it means that beyond the wall, she might encounter some magic, which will help her to get a husband and a baby eventually. What do you think? Take that part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's hard to say with the visions being so different in the books, but you know, I think her going beyond the wall, it could have been a thing of her going north at some point, you know, depending on where this battle is. You know, we still don't really know, is it going to be at the wall, or is it going to be at Winterfell, or even further south. But I think it was more of a, in the show at least, it was, some people would say that was representing of her death because Drogo was dead and Rhaegar was dead.
Right.
So it can be seen as that for sure, and there's no doubt in that at all. But at the same time, she chose to leave the tent. She chose to see through the illusion, and you know, she knew Drogo was dead, she knew Rhaegar was dead, and walked out. Gotcha. So that to me represented, it's kind of letting go of her past and coming out of that tent to the, you know, back to her future and the dragons, because she heard the dragon and walked out of the tent, where she could have stayed there in that vision forever, as far as we know. Right. So I think that's what that means. I don't think it means she's going to die necessarily. It could hint at that, sure, but I think she chose life there, if that makes sense. Right. Is it? So anyway.
All right. Now it says, now on the other hand, what if we had the indication of how the whole show is going to end almost from the beginning? The phrase they keep repeating over and over: Valar Morghulis, Valar Dohaeris. Right. All men must die, all men must serve. What if this is exactly what it's going to be in the end? All men will either be dead or serving female leaders.
Yeah, I think that's a very good possibility. And we talked about a little bit the female thing before, is that I think things are going to change. We're seeing the 5 queens now, basically, or a few queens at least. We may not end up with 5, possibly going to this democracy-style system, but at least a rise in you know, women as far as ruling. We have basically 3 queens right now, and depending on what Jon does, possibly 4th with Sansa. So I definitely think that's a possibility. I want to go back.
Have you ever thought of all men must die, all men must serve as being literally men?
I have actually thought about it, but yeah, I mean, it's a good point. It could be very well, especially with George R. R. Martin's, you know, personal beliefs. You know, he described himself as a feminist, or used to at least. I'm not sure if he still does, but the point being that, yeah, I mean, this is going to go into his work, right? And so it may very well be a big kind of role reversal.
right.
for power. I want to go back really quickly though on the Dany and her not having children thing.
Okay.
That's probably changed. If you remember in A Dance with Dragons, the show hasn't really went over this quite yet. Didn't really address it. They may this year with Jon coming through the picture or whatever. If they do go that route with her and Jon being the love story, which I'm thinking they probably will, but in the books, I think we actually talked about this a long time ago in a Q&A. She starts bleeding again in the Dothraki Sea.
Yes, we have.
So she has essentially a period, as far as we know. It's the way it's indicated in A Dance with Dragons before she gets captured by the Khalasar. So her womb has quickened again, and it kind of goes along with the whole, to go north you must go south, east you must go west, to go forward you must go backwards. That's all tied in that prophecy, and part of that was, when the mountains blow in the wind like leaves, and when you bear a living child. So those are all things coming to pass. So it's kind of hinted, at least at the end of that book, which we're waiting on Winds of Winter for that kind of confirmation that she can probably have children again at this point.
Awesome.
Although in the show they have not got that far.
And lastly...
Oh, we got more.
I'm actually skipping a little bit. And lastly, what do you make of Melisandre's prediction that Gendry would make kings rise and fall?
Yeah, I mean, I think Gendry is going to be basically the next Lord of the Stormlands and House Baratheon. I think that's what it boils down to. Basically, House Baratheon is gone. I mean, I'm sure there were cousins and, other lesser knowns in the Stormlands when Robert was king. And all the bastards that we know of have been killed now, obviously by Joffrey. And in the books, there is Edric Storm, which is another of Robert's bastards. So that's a different character, kind of. So it may go a lot different there. You have Gendry and Edric Storm in the books that are Robert's bastards. But at least in the show, I think that this year Dany will get him from, and I think that's the mission they're on in that leaked video footage. I think they go to get Gendry to restore House Baratheon. So I think it's
given the name.
I think so.
Awesome.
I think Dany, she's the proclaimed queen, so she can do that. I mean, now somebody may not recognize that, like Cersei, but it doesn't really matter once she's defeated or whatever.
Exactly.
Right? So Dany can come over, and Tyrion's going to be the one kind of dealing this stuff out as far as the political side of things, right? You need the Martells, you need all these houses behind you, and by the way, we have a big house that's vacant now, and that would also help your claim, because the last king was a Baratheon.
That's right.
So you need House Baratheon on your side too. By the way, Davos knows a guy down at King's Landing who happens to be, Robert's bastard, and the only male living child, whatever. You need to go get him. So proclaim him a Baratheon. There you go.
Sweet.
And rally the Stormlands around your cause. So I think that's the way it's going.
Next question. Firestarter 25 says, what if Littlefinger is killed by Robin after he gets older and possibly sees that Littlefinger has been controlling him, or when Sansa tells him that Littlefinger pushed his mother out of the moon door?
I would like that, actually.
I would too.
I can see that. I hadn't
when
thought
I read
about
this question. We've been talking about Arya killing him.
Yeah, Arya being the kind of assassin under Sansa's orders, and I think a lot of people believe that. I would still lean towards that, but I mean, honestly, I've never liked Sweet Robin. I've talked about that before. As far as just a character, I mean, I know he's just a dumb little kid. It's not his fault, but yeah, if he gets older, that would be some poetic justice, Really, so I wouldn't mind that a bit, And I like Littlefinger.
Make him fly.
Yeah, make him fly. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Kind of that'd be poetic justice for him to go flying, or like we mentioned before, I think you mentioned it, maybe he goes flying out of the same window Bran did. Yeah. Somebody is, damn it. I think so. I've said this for years, and it hadn't happened yet. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I think somebody's going out that damn window like Bran.
Oh, can't wait to see that.
And Littlefinger, although he didn't cause Jamie to push Bran out that window, he set a lot of this stuff in motion. He helped it along. Technically Catelyn did by taking Tyrion, but he's the one that said it was his dagger in the first place.
That's
and all
right.
That stuff. So, yeah, I mean, he could be. And so it's all kind of started with Bran falling out that window, and I could see and Littlefinger kind of starting this war between everybody. That would fit.
It really would, wouldn't it?
And he would technically be flying kind of like the whole moon door thing, so I could see that. So, yeah, I'll make a prediction. Littlefinger's going out the old Broken Towers window. I'm saying it right now. I called it here first.
Dude, that's cool. I hope that comes to fruition.
We'll see.
Although I do like Littlefinger.
I do like Littlefinger.
Next question. Davis Clan says, Q&A question. If the Night King makes it to Winterfell, do you think he will raise the crypts of Winterfell? There are a lot of bodies down there that he could add to his army.
Yeah, I've actually got this question quite a bit, and I think it's possible, but it kind of goes back to what we were talking about a little bit in the Dragon Raised by Wolves series. Is there something magical about the Winterfell crypts? Can they be raised? In other words, is there some kind of magical ward that wouldn't allow that to happen? Because you've got a lot of Starks from thousands of years. You got to remember in the books, Winterfell or the crypts are layers and layers of it's not just some small little tunnel.
Right.
Like in the show, you just see one little kind of hallway with some crypts on either side. It's huge. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be, by no means would it be a giant army, but it would be a lot of people. Or whites, I should say.
You know how you liken the White Walkers to a nuclear option?
Yeah.
So the crypts could be like a fallout shelter if there's a magic spell there.
Right. I mean, it may tie into the whole. There always must be a Stark and Winterfell type thing. The old Stark warning, winter is coming, which we've said a million times. I think it used to be a warning. This kind of lost its meaning over the centuries. So I mean, I think it could happen, but I don't think it will happen. I don't think that you're going to see. I mean, because we've already seen the shock of. When we first saw people resurrected, popping up out of the ground and the little kid.
Good point.
So we've already kind of seen that happen. It would just be, at least in the show, I don't think we're going to see it because that's a lot of CGI that we don't really need to see. For white, because they have hundreds of thousands of white. So it wouldn't really matter that Torrhen Stark, pops out of his crypt. Yeah. Because it's just a skull.
But I love the way this show has people guessing like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it can very...
Everybody is guessing and coming up with their own theories.
Yeah, because there's nothing to say that it can't happen. I mean, if they come down here and their magic is broken on the wall and they are coming through the wall, I've been saying for years before any kind of, photos, and I haven't seen anything about the wall. But
anyway, having watched Hard Home with you like 3 times, it never gets old.
No.
Because if it's my 3rd time watching it with you, then you've probably seen it 6, 7 times.
My God, probably more than that.
That's an awesome scene. And you're saying that is directed
Miguel Shaposnik, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the same guy.
He did Bastard Bowl?
He did Bastard Bowl and The Winds of Winter last season. Unfortunately, Miguel will not be directing in season 7 for some reason.
Son of a...
I'm sure he will come back for 8. I feel very confident he will because there's going to be some battles in season 7, but he is the battle master.
No joke.
I mean, literally, he is. So I feel strongly he will be back in season 8.
Okay, next question comes from Ashley Smith. Ashley says, "This is fucked up and morbid, but do you think George R.R. Martin will die before finishing A Song of Ice and Fire? And if he, God absolutely forbid, doesn't get to finish the series, how do you think he would want the story to conclude? I don't know if you're familiar with the Wheel of Time series, incredibly similar to A Song of Ice and Fire, but if I'm not mistaken, the series concluded after the author's death. Do you think George R.R. Martin has appointed a predecessor?"
I think he has, actually.
Really?
I don't think he's in horrible health or anything like that. It's just an age thing.
Yeah.
But I believe he actually has told a few people what's going to happen, how it's going to end, and his vision for it.
That's smart.
Elio and Linda, I believe, the co-authors of A World of Ice and Fire, they actually have a YouTube channel and run a big website with forums and that type of thing. They are probably privy to that. They were the co-authors of that book. And I know, like, the showrunners for the show have, a basic idea of what's going to happen, at least, if not some more detail than we probably imagine. Winds and Winter's basically done.
Okay.
I mean, we've basically got a release date coming up hopefully before season 7. So we do have Winds and Winter's basically done. There may be some rewriting going on. I believe that's what's happening right now. And, of course, A Dream of Spring would be the last one anyway. So I mean, I hope not. You know, I mean, I hate to think about shit like that, but it's it's possible. You know, but then again, like, and I would hate that to happen because he's so in depth.
Yeah.
And I don't care if he gives it to a great author. As far as here's my outline for the last book, it wouldn't be the same. I mean, yeah, we would get the general ending, but it just wouldn't be the same. Even just knowing that, God. Even if it was very well written, which I'm sure it would be, it wouldn't feel the same. It would be horrible. I mean, I hope not. I certainly hope not. But then again, at the rate this series is going, we can go ahead and say basically he's on the last book. But now, will he take a year off before he starts writing, A Dream of Spring? No idea. I mean, hopefully he gets the Winds of Winter out, takes a couple weeks off, and just gets back to writing a few pages a day.
Do you have any idea how old he is now?
I don't. I think he's 70.
So
I'm pretty sure. I don't know the exact number.
Based on how slow this stuff is coming out,
right?
Why Ashley and probably thousands of other people.
I've heard this question in some variation several times. Or I've seen this discussion in a lot of places as well. So yeah, people definitely think about it. I mean, it's I don't guess it's morbid. I mean, it's a legitimate question. So yeah, I hope not, but yeah, I mean, it's possible, and but I have heard, I think I've read that there are some people that at least know the vision. One more to go, and that's probably a good 5 years at least.
Are you gonna get Winds of Winter?
Nah, no, I'm done with the books. Yeah, no, I need to do another reread actually before Winds of Winter, so that's on the menu too.
Cool deal. Next question. Sky Guy says, hey, can you guys talk about Bran and Jamie? Like, what would happen if they found themselves in the same place? What would Jon do? Also, from watching the show, I get the sense that Arya doesn't like Sansa very much. Maybe they won't get along now that they're grown up.
That's an interesting question. I think that
Jamie and Bran.
I think honestly, Jamie would be Bran would be forgiving.
I think so.
I think he would be very forgiving, and Jamie would be very remorseful now. I think he would completely apologize and say, look, I was a horrible person in that, that type of conversation. Yeah. This is who I was. This is what was going on. And
Bran will say,
I tried to kill you, but I was wrong.
Bran will say, I've seen what you've done since then. Basically,
yeah, he literally could. He could see. He could say, actually, you know what? I know why you killed the king. I see how many people you saved doing it.
Yes.
So I definitely think that would happen in some way. Now, you bring Jon to the equation. Exactly. If he doesn't hear that from Bran first, if he knows, and if he found out that Jamie's the one who pushed him, Jon's going to try to kill him. Now, that would take Bran to say, whoa, wait. Yes. This was all meant to be. This was all part of the plan, and Jon, of course, now coming back from the dead, would listen to that.
Good point. The coming back from the dead part does...
Yeah, makes you a little believer. Makes you a believer in some things. Opens your mind a bit, I guess, to magical things. So if Bran would, if he wasn't in the room, now Jamie's a good fighter, but he's also one-handed. He's not going to beat Jon now, if he ever would. So... it would take somebody that knows, like Bran in the room, to stop him from basically cutting his throat.
Now, before we get to the second part, I just want to ask this because I saw this other question, and I didn't pick it because so many people were beating the guy or girl up for asking the question.
Okay.
The question was, what happened to the Valyrian steel dagger that was used to try to murder Bran?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know.
People were saying, what difference does it make? It makes no difference in the rest of the show.
No, I mean, technically it doesn't, but it's a good question. I don't have. That's the beauty of A Song of Ice and Fire is all these little details. Like
why do we have to know that was
like the good question we just got about the letter from Ned to whoever he told Varys to write? That's an oversight by me and a lot of other people. I've never heard anybody ask that question. That's a great question.
I thought it was too.
But the dagger, we don't know, and it could be very important. It could
because pop back up in the end.
From a writing standpoint, think about it. That thing that started all this ends all this. That's a great question.
Chills on my arms.
So I mean, think about it. If I was a writer, which I've actually done some writing in my time. I mean, I'm not professional by any means, and nowhere near that level.
We don't count Penthouse Forum.
That's true. Never mind.
I was published, man.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I was self-published. I have a printer. But the point being that, yeah, I would, we talked about symmetry and writing and some of that stuff, and I would absolutely use that dagger again. Absolutely. So it is an important question.
I know. I wish I would have got it now and give the person
credit. No,
that's
okay. You can, if you know it, read it off. I don't know if you just remembered it or what, but
I just remembered it.
I could absolutely see that dagger being, like we were talking about Heartsbane's importance before and other Valyrian steel swords. That dagger's overlooked. It basically started this shit. Not the White Walkers necessarily, as far as them coming back, but it started, all the political stuff and the happenings of our main characters and the war between everybody. And it basically divided everybody and left them vulnerable.
It did.
So I can see the dagger saving the world in a way, as far as killing the Night King or something along those lines, or you know what I mean. So yeah, perfectly valid question, and I have no idea. I have no clue.
Damn, that's awesome.
I would imagine
like a bonehead.
I would imagine that Varys or Cat, maybe Cat still had it, but she just sent it back to Winterfell. Varys took it and studied it. Maybe Littlefinger got it back. I couldn't see Cat just giving it up though.
I can't either. It was so important.
Yeah, so it could be just lost out in the countryside somewhere because she got killed at the frays and maybe there. Who knows? I'm sure she had it with her in her possession. But then again, she had things like Ned's bones sent back to Winterfell.
Okay.
So she could have had things sent back there. Maybe it's back in Winterfell. So there's places it definitely could be, and it could definitely pop up again. So that is not a stupid question.
Damn.
So anyway.
Okay, the second part of this about Arya and Sansa not getting along now that they're grown up more, because when they were kids they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, they were, she went through that whole thing as a kid, I hate her, but I really don't, telling Ned that and stuff. So, no, I think they will actually get along more. Now, will they get along perfectly? No. I mean, they're still completely two different people. They're two completely different people. She's still kind of, Queen Sansa now or whatever, and still has these kind of, Littlefinger dreams of being this queen figure, and there's going to be some conflict there with Littlefinger. So when Arya gets back to Winterfell after her killing spree, there will be some conflict. But I think ultimately that's what we're talking about. Arya kind of turning back around and focusing on family and things like that, and important things besides just revenge. That ultimately they will come together. And that will probably be the Littlefinger death part that we were talking about.
Can you imagine what their talks will be like? It'll almost be like a pissing contest. Oh yeah, well this happened to me.
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they got and that's what I think. That's what I was saying. I mean, there will be conflict once they but when they first reunite, there's going to be a lot of hugging and you're alive and here's what's been going on and a lot of stories to tell. So, they're still sisters regardless. They're two different people, but they're still sisters. I mean. So yeah, I do see some conflict, but I see that being found out, and I see the whole Littlefinger thing being tied in with that. So, okay, and probably his demise through the damn window.
Through the window.
I'm calling it.
I'd like to finish this with a question for me.
All right. You should know all this by now.
I'm horrible with names still. There's so many
finished the series and you read the first book. Come on.
I know, man, but okay. Qyburn said to Cersei that Robert Strong, or whatever the hell his name is,
Sir Robert Strong, yep, Frankenmountain.
He took a vow of silence until he kills
all her enemies.
All her enemies. Now, is he just saying that because this big Frankenmonster can't speak, or do you think he can? And he really did take a vow of silence.
I mean, I've actually questioned that a little bit myself. I honestly don't think he can. And I think all that, because all that really means is until all her enemies are dead, at some point he will get killed by somebody or something.
I took it as it was almost a little tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to continue killing people as Cersei commands or whatever until he dies, and therefore he'll never speak. At some point, he's going to lose. Yeah. Now, whether that's a man or a beast, or more than one person, or whatever it is. So, yeah, I mean, I can see it both ways, but I don't think he can. Maybe he can, though. I don't see, I mean, I'm not saying there's a reason I think he can't, other than just being a zombie, essentially. Yeah. And we don't know now the books is a little different again. We don't know if he has a head. Remember in the books, apparently they sent his skull to Doran Martell, who they remember the Dornish wanted revenge for Oberyn's death, and Oberyn wanted revenge for Elia Martell, his sister, Rhaegar's wife, and all that kind of stuff. So we don't know in the books if he has a head or not. Now in the show, obviously it's the same guy. And I had speculated it could have been, Robert Baratheon's head. I said the timelines didn't match up, but it just seemed odd to me why they named him Sir Robert Strong when they renamed him. So, but in the books, we don't know if he even has a head. Which therefore, if he doesn't have a head, he has no vocal cords and he can't talk regardless. But a lot of people want the Hound still to get his little revenge on him. I don't think that necessarily has to happen. I'll be fine with it, but the Hound.
What did you think of Tyrion?
Because we had said that before. Yeah. Kind of David and Goliath, right? Yeah, I think it would be great writing.
It would be.
If Tyrion somehow brought him to his knees and cut his throat, that would be outstanding. I'll be fine either way it goes.
And see, Tyrion was there when because that was the
trial by combat.
Trial by combat.
Right.
He knows don't leave the fucker laying there and
exactly.
prance around.
And
if Tyrion gets him down, he will do some
right.
damage.
And if you
to
think
him.
about that, we've seen Tyrion. We saw him in the Battle of the Blackwater take somebody's leg off.
Yes, we did.
And then bring him down, chopped him down.
Yep.
We saw him...
Which he got no credit for.
Got no credit for. Do the same. He did the same thing to a Harpy guy, saving Missandei.
You damn right.
So,
that's right.
Yeah, maybe that's a little foreshadowing that he's chopping somebody down.
I would love that, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be fine with that. I don't think it has to be the Hound, I mean, the Hound's on a whole new path now. He's got something bigger than revenge, so...
I would like... for you to tell them about this prize.
All right, so let's show them first.
Okay.
What we got here. All right, so the giveaway, the prize is, if you're interested, is the World of Ice and Fire. Still in the plastic. This is the original cover and the leather-bound coffee table style book.
Right.
If you have not read the books, get this one. If you don't care to read the books, at least get this one if you're just a show-only watcher, because this gives you all the backstory and some answers and some perspective on what the hell some of that means in the TV show if you don't have the history as far as the books backing you up there. This is an awesome book. This is about, what was it, $70?
I think it was $79.99.
It's about $70 or $80 book. This is beautiful artwork. It's written from the perspective of maesters, and you're getting actual, fictional history,
right,
I should say, about this world and how it came to be and all that stuff.
A lot of maps.
Maps and everything. Very beginning, a lot of very cool-ass artwork. It's a lot different from the show. For example, I'll just lay that right there. For example, the Iron Throne in the show is a very small chair. In the books, you can see it in this book, actually. It's a thing you climb with thousands of swords, not just, 200 or something,
right,
that little finger count in the show.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's a completely different feel from the show as far as the scale of things. Even though the show is beautiful, but anyway. So what we'll do is we'll do a giveaway, and we'll do it similar to the last giveaway. So I've just changed it up a little bit. I got to make you work a little bit for this. This was $70, $80 book, and by the way, thank you, Michelle. She sent it to us a while back for a giveaway.
Sure did.
So thank you, Michelle, for that. So anyway, what I'll do is leave a link, and it's a cool little app called Gleam, and I used this in our last Magnum Mighty giveaway. And you have to do a couple things. So first, you have to subscribe to the channel. That will give you 2 entries. And if you've already subscribed, just go through the motions, and it will kind of verify that and actually give you those entries anyway.
Yeah, you don't have to unsubscribe.
So you wouldn't have to go through any trouble. And you can do all this from the app that will be, or from the page that I will send. I will leave a link for in the description, and you can all do it from all one space instead of visiting several different places. The other thing is like the Facebook page, the SmokeScreen Facebook page, and you can do that right from there. And also you can visit the website. Visit smokescreenbiz.com. I'm revamping the website a little bit, so it's not completely finished, but just check around there, and you can even suggest improvements. And also, I wanted to mention, I do have forums there. They're not up and running yet because I will not have the time personally to keep all those going, but I want to start some forums, and I've had them up for actually about a year, and I just haven't done anything with it. But if I can get some moderators, I'll be glad to kind of set that up as an area for you guys to hang out and chat. as far as the Song of Ice and Fire, other topics, Walking Dead, Star Wars. I can put all those boards in there. But
Q&A board.
Q&A board, exactly, for this type of thing. But I will need moderators. So if you're interested in that, let me know as well, because I need some people that are trustworthy, that can keep it clean. And, not it has to be, squeaky clean.
Obviously.
But, right. I mean, this is SmokeScreen, right? But at the same time, it's got to be respectful. You got to have common sense. So I will be glad to start those forums and have people sign up and all that if I get some moderators and enough of them. So anyway, there's a link in this app again to check out the website, and also the last thing is to retweet a certain tweet of mine, which I have in this app. It's already there. So when you click retweet this tweet, it will retweet that link on your particular Twitter, and that will also everything will give you 2 entries, so you can have a total of 8 entries if you want to, and that gives you a better chance, because once all this is tallied up, the actual app lets me go in and select a winner. That way I can keep up with everything. And also, if you would, drop a like on this video and give us a comment, of course.
Yeah.
And that will certainly help out the video. And
I have one more request.
Sure.
Whoever wins this, tweet a picture of you holding it,
yes,
or something like that.
I was going to say that, actually.
Well, were you?
Yeah, no,
okay.
That's fine.
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, and hopefully I did send out the Magnum Mighty to the winner, and
cool.
Hopefully he will. I told him, I wrote him a little handwritten, thank you for entering and congrats, that type of thing. So hopefully he'll do the same. So yeah, whoever ends up getting this in the next couple weeks, that'd be cool. Tag me in, a Facebook post or a tweet, whatever. That's the giveaway for this month, and hopefully you guys dig it. And again, we'll be doing some more pretty cool stuff as far as giveaways. So anyway, again, I will leave the link to that in the description below. Just go there. It's a one-stop shop. You can click these, 4 different ways, 2 entries each, so a total of 8 entries if you choose to do so. And of course, the more you get, the better chance you have of being drawn.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's this Q&A. I think we're done, right?
Well, I was just going to say, he's already putting together the next giveaway.
I have some ideas.
Yeah, he's already got an item or two. Don't know if he's going to package them together or what, but he's always thinking about you guys.
Yeah,
and I don't know how much y'all think about Chris, but Chris is always thinking about y'all. And I feel like of all your 30,000 plus subscribers, you could name 80% of them. I feel like
there's definitely been a core people that's been around since the beginning, and I could name them off, and I recognize people's names now. And
the Christmas giveaway will include a personalized autographed picture of Chris with his hat off. We've never talked about that, but I'm going to make that happen.
We have not talked about that, because that's supposed to be like a 100K reveal.
That's right. That's right.
Right, that's a 100K reveal, and I told you guys we get to that level.
Picture me naked.
Yeah. We get to that
banana hammock.
We get to that level. I told him before, and a lot of people were asking about that. Is I'll grow my hair out and dye it Targaryen silver. I don't care. I'll be glad to do it.
That would be badass, actually.
It actually might be. Maybe I'll go Rhaegar style,
Hell yeah.
I don't know.
I'll go egg.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, you can do it. Rocking the horseshoe or go egg.
But as always, man, this whole thing puts a smile on my face. Look forward to it. Glad we're kind of getting back into a flow, and then hopefully it stays that way. I feel like it will.
Yep. So anyway, I guess that'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, thank you guys for all the questions. Really appreciate it, especially to you Patreons. Really appreciate the support. You have no idea. I know I say this every time. But you have no idea how much it helps right now, as this channel's kind of mid-range and still growing. So hopefully it'll start picking up a little bit towards Christmas, and we get more Game of Thrones news and stuff. And also Westworld. If you guys dig Westworld, I'm doing Westworld videos now, and Walking Dead, and of course Star Wars is coming up in December, so there'll probably be a couple Star Wars videos in there too. So again, thank you guys so much for the support. Really, really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.